Night has already settled over the land once called Greece, arriving without ceremony, without contrast, without the sense of an ending being reached. It comes gently, as it always has, resting over hills and plains that no longer carry urgency or expectation. The landscape does not react to its arrival. It receives night as something familiar, something that has returned countless times before and will return countless times again. Nothing needs to prepare itself. Nothing needs to respond. The land simply remains where it is, held quietly beneath the sky. Stone cities rest where they've always rested, their outlines softened by darkness until they feel less like structures and more like presences. Temples stand in silence, columns rising upward and dissolving into shadow before they reach completion. Marble no longer reflects attention or belief. It absorbs the night evenly, allowing edges to blur until meaning itself loosens. These places do not feel abandoned or diminished. They feel finished, as though whatever they were meant to hold has already been released into the air and allowed to fade. The air moves slowly, if it moves at all, drifting across worn steps and open courtyards without carrying sound or intention. Spaces where voices once gathered no longer echo. Amphitheaters rest without audience or performer, their curved stone seating dissolving gently into darkness. Speech feels distant here, unnecessary, as if language itself has completed its role and stepped aside. Silence does not wait to replace words. It has already settled fully. Paths between cities lie open and empty, stretching through hills and olive groves barely visible in the night. These roads do not invite movement or suggest destination. They remain as quiet lines that have already completed their purpose. Messengers no longer hurry across them. Philosophers no longer walk them in slow conversation. Soldiers no longer pass in formation. The roads hold no tension, no anticipation. They rest as part of the land, indistinguishable from the ground that supports them. Beyond the land, the sea remains present without announcement. Its surface is dark and level, breathing slowly beneath the sky. There is no sound of oars or creaking wood, no sail catching wind. Ships no longer leave or return. The sea has released the memory of conquest and voyage. It does not recall departure or arrival. It simply remains steady and indifferent, holding darkness without reflection. The gods no longer occupy these places as presence. Their temples remain, but invocation has faded. Statues stand quietly, their forms softened by shadow until gesture and expression feel optional. Divinity has retreated into distance, into abstraction, into something no longer addressed directly. If the gods remain at all, they do so as faint impressions, settled into the same stillness as stone and sky. No prayers rise here. No answers are expected. Philosophy no longer debates beneath shaded questions that once unfolded endlessly have slowed to the point of rest. Thought does not argue here. It does not seek clarity or resolution. Ideas linger like echoes that no longer require their source. The mind, if it enters this space, finds nothing to grasp, nothing to solve. Understanding feels unnecessary. Silence offers enough. War has already finished speaking. Fields that once carried armadest, and movement now lies smooth and undisturbed beneath the night. The ground holds no vibration of marching or command. Victory and defeat have dissolved into the same quiet soil. The land does not distinguish between them. It has accepted everything and retained nothing. Time loosens its structure across this landscape. Night does not feel as though it is moving toward dawn. It does not deepen or thin in any noticeable way. The moment holds itself evenly, without accumulation. Past and present soften until they overlap completely, losing their separation. History releases its edges. Everything exists at the same quiet distance, equally settled, equally complete. If awareness lingers here, it does so without focus, drifting slowly across stone, air, and darkness before releasing even that gentle movement. There is no narrative to follow and no lesson to gather, no conclusion waiting to be reached. Greece remains not as myth, not as philosophy, not as war, but as a quiet landscape after everything has already been said, held beneath a wide and indifferent sky where stars remain fixed and unmoved, and where land, sea, and ruin rest together in a silence that no longer asks for meaning, only allows presence. Log 2. The night remains settled over Greece without change, as if it has reached a condition where movement is no longer necessary. In this stillness, a single place holds the attention gently, not by asking for it, but by allowing awareness to rest there naturally. It is a hillside above a quiet city, where stone foundations and broken columns lie scattered without pattern or hierarchy. Nothing here suggests importance anymore. The land has released the need to distinguish between what once mattered and what did not. Stone rests against stone in softened arrangements, shaped by hands long gone, and by time that has since lost interest in shaping further. Surfaces once carved with intention now feel neutral, their details blurred until texture becomes suggestion rather than information. The night smooths everything evenly, dissolving sharpness and contrast. What remains is a calm material presence, cool and steady, neither resisting nor inviting touch. The air above the hillside feels balanced and still, carrying no scent of fire or sea, no trace of human activity. It does not drift with purpose. It simply remains, filling the space between stones and open ground without pressure. Breath, if it were present, would slow almost immediately, adjusting without awareness to the quiet stability of the place. The body would feel no reason to shift or prepare. It would remain where it is, supported by the same calm that holds the land. Darkness settles into every hollow and broken line, not obscuring but softening. Ruins do not stand out against the earth. They merge into it, sharing the same muted tone. The idea of collapse feels distant here. These stones do not feel fallen, they feel rested, released from alignment and function, allowed to exist without instruction. There is no sense of loss. There is only completion. Silence fills the hillside completely, not as absence, but as presence. It presses lightly against the ground and rises into the open air without resistance. Sound feels unnecessary here, almost out of place. Even imagined voices dissolve before they can gather shape. The night has settled into a form of quiet that does not anticipate interruption. Time does not announce itself in this place. There is no sense of duration, passing, or accumulating. The moment feels evenly sustained, as if it has always existed in this exact condition. The hillside does not feel older or newer. It simply remains. The past does not press forward. The future does not pull away. Everything rests within a single, continuous now. Memory lingers faintly, not as story or image, but as atmosphere. The idea that people once gathered here feels distant and weightless. Thought no longer arranges itself around names or events. What once was discussed, argued, or decided has already dissolved into silence. The land does not recall the content of voices. It remembers only how to remain after they have faded. The sky above the hillside holds its depth without emphasis. Stars appear steady and indifferent, scattered across darkness without pattern that needs to be followed. They do not guide attention upward. They simply remain where they are, distant and unchanged. The land below does not respond to them. It rests beneath their presence without alignment or expectation. If awareness lingers on this hillside, it does so gently, without scanning or focus. Attention drifts slowly across stone, air, and darkness, then begins to soften its grip. There is nothing here to hold the mind in place. nothing to resolve. The ruins do not ask to be understood. They allow awareness to rest briefly, then to loosen and fade naturally. Thoughts slow as they arise, losing shape before they can organize. Meaning does not assemble. Narrative does not form. The mind finds no reason to remain alert. The hillside offers no tension, no movement, no demand. It exists as a quiet surface within the night, steady and complete. The night does not deepen in any noticeable way. Cold remains even. Air stays still. Stone rests without shift. The hillside remains exactly as it is, held gently within a silence that has already absorbed everything that once gave it purpose. Nothing begins here, and nothing concludes, not as separate ideas, but as a single, sustained state in which the land simply remains, calm and undisturbed, allowing awareness to settle alongside it and gradually release. The hillside continues to rest beneath the same unbroken night, unchanged by the passing of moments that no longer register as movement. Stone fragments remain scattered in quiet arrangements that feel resolved rather than disordered, as if each piece has settled into a place that no longer requires correction. Columns lie where they have fallen, not as evidence of collapse, but as forms that have released the need to stand. The land does not attempt to restore them. It allows them to remain exactly as they are, complete in their rest. Darkness holds these forms gently, smoothing edges and softening distinctions until the difference between wall and ground becomes almost irrelevant. The ruins do not interrupt the hillside, they blend into it, sharing the same tone, the same temperature, the same calm acceptance of night. Stone no longer carries symbolic weight here. It carries only presence, quiet and steady, without insisting on memory or interpretation. The air remains settled and neutral, resting evenly across the slope. It does not cool or warm in any noticeable way. It simply exists, filling space without pressure. Breath, if it were present, would find no resistance, no need for adjustment. It would slow naturally, aligning with the stillness of the place until even the act of breathing feels secondary, almost unnecessary. Silence deepens, not by growing louder or heavier, but by becoming more familiar. It no longer feels like a condition. It feels like the natural state of things. Sound does not attempt to enter this space. Even imagined echoes dissolve immediately, absorbed by the open night. The hillside does not wait for voices. It has already released them. Time continues to lose its structure here. The moment does not feel extended or brief. It does not progress or pause. It simply remains open and even, as though it has settled into a final and stable form. The ruins do not age within this stillness. They do not gather dust in a way that matters. They rest within a duration that no longer measures itself. Memory fades further, thinning into something without detail. The idea that these stones once framed debates, rituals, or decisions feels distant and abstract. Names, ideas, conflicts no longer attach themselves to this place. What once mattered has already finished mattering. The hillside does not hold on to meaning. It holds on to stillness. The sky remains distant and steady, its depth unchanged. Stars continue to hold their positions without message or emphasis. They do not draw attention upward. They remain present without invitation. The land below does not respond to them. It rests beneath their quiet presence without alignment or concern. If awareness lingers here, it does so lightly, without focus. Attention does not trace outlines or reconstruct forms. It rests briefly on stone and shadow, then begins to loosen. There is no reason to remain alert. Nothing here requires interpretation or understanding. The hillside does not demand engagement. It allows awareness to settle, tend to soften, tend to drift. Thoughts, when they arise, do not organize themselves into meaning. They remain diffuse, passing gently without direction. The mind does not seek answers or conclusions. It aligns naturally with the calm of the place, slowing until it becomes nearly indistinguishable from the silence around it. The night continues without change. Cold remains even and unremarkable. Air stays still. Stone rests where it has settled. The hillside remains exactly as it is, held quietly within a silence that has already absorbed every voice, every argument, every intention that once passed through it. Nothing moves forward from here. Nothing returns. The place remains complete in its stillness, allowing everything else to rest alongside it and gradually release. Block 3. The night holds a quiet courtyard now, enclosed not by walls that define space, but by absence that allows it to remain undisturbed. Stone slabs rest underfoot in loose alignment, their surfaces worn smooth by time that no longer presses forward. Columns stand at uneven distances, some upright, some broken, some reduced to low shapes that barely rise from the ground. None of them assert form or function anymore. They exist as calm presences within the night, settled into a state where balance no longer requires effort. Darkness settles evenly across the courtyard, filling open spaces and shallow depressions without contrast. There are no sharp shadows cast by moon or flame. Light, if present at all, is diffuse and gentle, soft enough that edges dissolve before they can define themselves. The courtyard does not appear empty. It appears complete, held together by the absence of movement rather than by structure. The air remains still, gathered quietly within the open enclosure. It does not circulate or drift with purpose. It simply rests, touching stone and open space with equal softness. Breath, if it were noticed, would feel slow and unforced, as if the body has already adjusted to the rhythm of the place without instruction. There is no need to inhale deeply or exhale fully. The body would remain supported, suspended in a calm that does not fluctuate. Silence here feels settled and familiar. It does not wait to be broken. It does not feel fragile. It exists as the natural condition of the courtyard, complete and unchallenged. Even imagined sounds fade before they can form. The idea of voices speaking here feels distant and abstract, stripped of urgency and detail. The courtyard does not remember words. It remembers only how to remain after they have faded. Stone steps at the edge of the space lead nowhere in particular now. They do not suggest ascent or descent. They remain as gentle variations in height, softened by night until direction loses relevance. The courtyard does not invite movement across it. It does not suggest gathering or dispersing. It holds stillness evenly, allowing nothing to pull awareness forward. Time does not announce itself in this space. There is no sense of duration, accumulating, or releasing. The moment feels sustained, evenly held, without progression. The courtyard does not belong to before or after. It exists entirely within this single, continuous now, unbroken and sufficient. Memory lingers faintly as atmosphere rather than image. The idea that people once stood here, listening or speaking, feels distant and weightless. Thought no longer organizes itself around what was said or decided. The land does not retain arguments or agreements. It retains only the calm after voices have finished. If awareness lingers within the courtyard, it does so gently, without focus. Attention drifts across stone and shadow, then begins to loosen. There is nothing here that requires interpretation. The space does not demand understanding. It allows awareness to rest briefly, tend to soften then to fade naturally. Thoughts slow as they arise, losing shape before they can form patterns. Meaning does not assemble, narrative does not appear. The mind does not remain alert. The courtyard offers no tension, no movement, no demand. It exists as a quiet presence within the night, steady and complete, allowing everything else to settle alongside it. The night remains unchanged. Cold stays even. Air remains still. Stone rests without shift. The courtyard remains exactly as it is, held quietly within a silence that has already absorbed everything that once gave it purpose, allowing the moment to remain open, undisturbed, and whole. The courtyard continues to hold its shape without effort, as if space itself has chosen to remain gently gathered here. Nothing presses inward from the surrounding stones, and nothing pulls outward toward what lies beyond. The absence of walls feels intentional, not incomplete. The open edges allow the night to settle more deeply, smoothing any remaining sense of boundary until the courtyard feels both contained and endless at the same time. Stone surfaces rest in quiet agreement with one another. Slabs that once formed deliberate patterns now feel loosely aligned, their original order softened into something more forgiving. Texture loses its insistence. Coolness spreads evenly across each surface, making no distinction between step, column, or ground. The stones no longer suggest where one should stand or move. They exist only as calm forms, settled into a condition where use has become unnecessary. The air remains balanced and neutral, filling the space without motion. It does not circulate or gather, it simply stays, held gently between stone and sky. Breath, if it were present, would slow further here, becoming so subtle that it barely registers as movement. The body would feel no impulse to shift position or adjust posture. It would remain naturally aligned with the stillness that surrounds it. Darkness continues to soften the courtyard, dissolving the last traces of definition. Shapes do not disappear, but they lose importance. Columns no longer stand as markers of design or intention. They become quiet, vertical presences, resting in shadow without emphasis. Broken pieces do not appear damaged or incomplete. They appear resolved, allowed to remain exactly as they are without correction. Silence here feels especially stable, as though it has settled into its most complete form. It does not feel like the absence of sound. It feels like the natural state of the space. No echo waits to be heard. No sound expects to arrive. The courtyard does not anticipate voices or footsteps. It has already released them fully. Time continues to loosen its presence. The moment does not stretch or shorten. It remains evenly sustained, without accumulation. There is no sense of night advancing toward morning. Darkness feels settled and sufficient, as if it has reached a condition where change is no longer required. The courtyard rests within this timelessness without resistance. Memory fades almost entirely, leaving behind only a faint continuity without detail. The idea that this place once held discussion or decision feels distant and abstract. Meaning has dissolved into atmosphere. What remains is not forgetting, but completion. The courtyard has already finished being what it once was. If awareness lingers, it does so without attachment. Attention does not move from object to object. It rests lightly on stone and air, then begins to release even that gentle contact. There is no reason to remain alert. The space does not ask to be observed. It allows awareness to settle, tend to soften, tend to drift. Thoughts, when they arise, remain incomplete. They do not organize into ideas or questions. They pass quietly, dissolving into the same calm that fills the courtyard. The mind does not search for meaning here. It aligns naturally with the stillness, slowing until it becomes almost indistinguishable from rest. The night remains unchanged. Cold stays even. Air remains still. Stone rests without shift. The courtyard continues to exist in this quiet balance, neither inviting nor resisting attention, complete within a silence that no longer belongs to speech or thought, only to this sustained, unbroken presence where everything is already settled and nothing more is required. Block 4. The night settles, now around a ruined temple set slightly apart from the city, standing on higher ground, where the land opens gently toward the sky. The temple does not rise with authority. It rests, its remaining columns spaced unevenly, some upright, some leaning, some reduced to fragments that no longer suggest vertical reach. The structure feels neither intact nor destroyed. It feels released, as though it has finished holding shape and has allowed itself to soften into the night. Marble surfaces absorb darkness evenly, losing their brightness and their claim to attention. Carvings once meant to communicate order, story, or reverence now feel quiet and neutral, their details smoothed into suggestion. The temple no longer frames belief. It no longer gathers devotion. It remains as a calm arrangement of stone, held gently by gravity and time, without requiring interpretation or response. The ground beneath the temple is cool and steady, carrying the same temperature as the surrounding air. Steps leading upward do not invite ascent. They feel like variations in height, rather than directions to be followed. The idea of entering the temple dissolves here. There is no inside or outside that matters. Space has loosened its structure, allowing everything to exist on equal terms. The air moves faintly across the open ruin. Though its movement is so soft, it feels more like presence than motion. It carries no scent of incense or smoke, no trace of ritual. Breath, if it were present, would slow naturally, lengthening without effort. The body would feel no need to adjust or prepare. It would settle into the same calm rhythm that holds stone and air together. Darkness rests between the columns, filling the gaps where walls once stood. These spaces do not feel empty. They feel open, allowing night to pass through freely without resistance. Shadow does not cling or pull. It spreads evenly, softening depth and distance, till everything feels gently near and far at the same time. Silence here feels reverent, without intention. It does not carry solemnity or a command. It exists simply as the natural state of the place. Sound does not attempt to form. Even imagined echoes feel distant and unnecessary. The temple does not wait for chants or prayers. It has already released them. Time loses its structure further in this elevated stillness. The moment does not feel suspended or prolonged. It feels complete. Night does not move toward dawn in any noticeable way. The sky remains deep and steady above the temple, stars holding their positions without message or alignment. Memory lingers faintly, but without image or narrative. The idea that this place once centered worship or fear or hope feels distant and weightless. The gods associated with it no longer feel present or absent. They feel irrelevant. The temple does not host divinity anymore. It hosts quiet. If awareness lingers among these stones, it does so without focus. Attention does not follow columns or trace outlines. It rests briefly on surfaces and open air, then begins to soften. There is nothing here to solve or understand. The temple offers no revelation. It offers rest. Thoughts slow as they arise, losing clarity before they can organize. Meaning does not assemble. The mind does not remain alert. The ruin does not demand belief or reflection. It exists as a quiet presence within the night, settled and complete. The night remains unchanged around the temple. Cold stays even. Air remains gentle and still. Stone rests without shift. The ruin continues to exist in this calm condition. No longer a place of power or explanation, but a quiet form held within silence, allowing awareness to settle beside it and gradually release. The temple remains in its quiet elevation, unchanged by the continued presence of night, as if height itself has released all distinction. There is no sense of standing above anything here. The surrounding land does not fall away dramatically. It simply rests at a gentle distance, allowing the ruin to exist without emphasis. The temple does not claim the horizon. It does not separate itself from the land below. It remains where it is, balanced and unassertive, settled into the same calm condition as everything else. Stone fragments lie scattered with a naturalness that feels complete rather than accidental. Broken columns rest beside intact ones, without contrast or hierarchy. No piece suggests what it once supported. No form insists on restoration. The arrangement feels final, not because it cannot change, but because it no longer needs to. The night accepts every fragment equally, smoothing differences until they feel like variations of the same quiet presence. Darkness moves gently through the open structure, passing between columns and across fallen stone without interruption. There is no boundary for it to respect. It fills interior and exterior alike, dissolving the idea that the temple still contains anything. Space feels open and evenly held. Shadow does not deepen in corners or retreat from edges. It remains consistent, allowing the entire ruin to exist within a single, continuous tone. The air remains calm and neutral, touching marble and open ground with the same softness. It carries no temperature shift that demands attention. Coolness spreads evenly, becoming background rather than sensation. Breath, if it were noticed, would feel slow and light, as if the body has already learned how to remain here without effort. There is no reason to inhale deeply or release fully. The body would settle into the same unhurried rhythm as the place itself. Silence feels fully formed here, not solemn and not empty, but stable and familiar. It does not echo, it does not wait for interruption. It exists as the natural state of the ruin. The temple does not anticipate voices, footsteps, or ritual. Those possibilities feel distant and unnecessary. Silence has already taken their place, not as absence, but as presence. Time continues to dissolve within this stillness. The moment does not feel long or brief. It does not stretch or conclude. It remains evenly open, sustained without effort. The ruin does not age within this state. It does not collect time on its surfaces. It rests within a duration that no longer measures itself, released from sequence and expectation. Memory thins further until it becomes indistinguishable from atmosphere. The idea that this temple once held meaning, fear, devotion, or authority feels distant and abstract. Names, myths, and rituals no longer attach themselves to these stones. Whatever once gathered here has already dispersed fully. What remains is not loss, but completion. If awareness lingers within the ruin, it does so gently, without focus or intention. Attention does not trace lines or search for symbols. It rests briefly on stone and shadow, then begins to loosen. There is nothing here to understand or interpret. The ruin does not explain. It allows awareness to settle, tend to soften, then to fade naturally. Thoughts, when they arise, remain diffuse and incomplete. They do not organize into belief or reflection. They pass quietly, dissolving into the same calm that fills the space. The mind does not remain alert. It aligns naturally with the stillness of the place, slowing until effort feels unnecessary. Above, the sky remains deep and steady, stars distant and unmoved. Below, the land rests without shift. Between them, the temple exists quietly, no longer a house for gods or people, but a calm form held within night, complete and undisturbed, allowing everything around it to remain exactly as it is. Look. Cinco. The night now rests along a quiet plain beyond the temple, where the land opens gently and releases any remaining sense of enclosure. The ground stretches outward without emphasis, neither wide nor narrow, simply present in a way that does not invite measurement. Low stones and uneven earth lie beneath the same even darkness, softened until surface and depth feel equally distant. The road that once crossed this plain no longer asserts itself as direction. It has become a faint continuity in the land, a suggestion rather than a path. The earth here feels settled and calm, carrying no memory of weight or movement. Fields that once bore the passing of armies or the gathering of bodies now rest without imprint. The ground does not remember marching or formation. It holds no vibration of command or resistance. Whatever force once moved across it has already dissolved into soil and night, leaving behind only a quiet stability that does not require explanation. The air across the plain remains still and evenly held, touching the surface of the land without stirring dust or sound. It does not drift toward the sea or the hills. It simply rests, filling the open space with a calm density that slows awareness before it is even noticed. Breath, if it were present, would deepen slightly, then soften, aligning naturally with the openness of the place. The body would feel no reason to remain alert. It would settle without instruction. Darkness spreads gently across the plain, smoothing differences in elevation and texture. There are no sharp shadows or contrasts. Everything shares the same muted tone, allowing distance to lose significance. Near and far dissolve into a single impression of space, held quietly within night. The land does not draw attention to itself. It allows itself to be passed over by awareness without resistance. Silence here feels broad rather than dense, extending across the open ground without boundary. It does not press inward. It does not wait to be broken. It exists as a stable field in which nothing needs to arrive. Even imagined sound feels distant and unnecessary. The plain does not anticipate movement. It has already accepted stillness fully. Time loosens further across this open land. The moment does not progress toward anything. It does not accumulate or release. Night feels settled into permanence, as if it has found its most balanced form here. The plain does not belong to before or after. It exists entirely within the sustained present, complete and unchanging. Memory fades into atmosphere. The idea that this land once witnessed conflict or strategy feels abstract and weightless. War has already finished speaking here. Victory and defeat have lost distinction. The plain does not hold allegiance or outcome. It holds only quiet, evenly distributed, without judgment or emphasis. If awareness lingers over this open ground, it does so slowly, without scanning or anticipation. Attention spreads gently across earth and air, then begins to soften. There is nothing here to follow, no structure to trace. The openness does not invite exploration. It invites rest. Thoughts arise slowly, if at all, and dissolve before they can gather shape. Meaning does not assemble. Narrative does not form. The mind does not attempt to organize the land into memory or explanation. The plain offers no reason to remain engaged. It exists as a calm presence beneath the night, steady and complete. The sky above remains deep and steady, stars distant and indifferent. The air stays still. The earth rests without shift. The plain continues to exist in this quiet balance, long after movement has ended and purpose has dissolved, allowing everything that lingers here to slow, to soften, and to remain without effort. The plain continues to rest in its openness without change, as though the land itself has exhaled fully and found no reason to inhale again. Nothing gathers at the horizon. Nothing withdraws into distance. Space remains evenly distributed, allowing the ground to exist without direction or emphasis. The faint trace of the road dissolves further, becoming less a path than a quiet agreement between earth and time, present without the need to be followed. Soil and stone share the same muted presence, their textures softened by night until distinction feels unnecessary. The surface no longer carries imprint or memory in any visible way. Where armor once pressed, where feet once struck the ground in rhythm, there is now only calm stability. The land does not respond to what passed over it. It has already absorbed everything and released it fully. The air remains settled close to the ground. Not heavy, not moving, simply present. It does not cool or warm with intention. It exists as a steady layer that slows awareness before it can form thought. Breath, if it were noticed, would feel shallow and unforced, aligning naturally with the quiet of the plain. The body would sense no need to orient itself. There is nothing here that requires readiness. Darkness continues to smooth the surface of the land, reducing contrast until depth becomes suggestion. Near and far lose importance. The plain feels neither wide nor narrow, only continuous. Shadows do not gather or retreat. They rest evenly, allowing the entire space to feel unified rather than divided. Silence here is expansive and stable, not pressing inward or stretching outward. It does not wait to be broken. It has already reached a form that does not require interruption. Even imagined sound feels distant and unnecessary, dissolving before it can gather direction. The plain does not listen. It does not respond. It remains. Time has almost no presence here. The moment does not feel extended or brief. It feels complete, evenly held, without progression. Night does not move toward morning in any noticeable way. The land does not anticipate change. It exists fully within this sustained now, untouched by sequence. Memory has thinned beyond narrative. The idea of war, of formation, of command no longer attaches to this ground. What once moved here has already finished moving. Victory and defeat have equal weight, which is to say, almost none at all. The plain does not distinguish between them. It holds only rest. If awareness drifts across this open land, it does so without purpose. Attention does not scan or search. It spreads gently, touching earth and air at once, then begins to loosen. There is no edge to follow, no center to return to. The plain offers no anchor for thought. It allows the mind to settle into stillness without effort. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and dissolve before they can form shape. Meaning does not assemble. The mind does not remain alert. It aligns naturally with the calm of the place, slowing until it becomes almost indistinguishable from rest. The sky remains deep and steady above the plain, stars distant and unmoving. The air stays still. The ground remains unchanged. The plain continues to exist quietly beneath the night, long after movement, conflict, and purpose have released their hold, allowing everything that lingers here to soften, to slow, and to remain without demand. Block 6. The night now settles along the edge of the sea, where land and water meet, without emphasis or boundary that demands attention. The shoreline does not curve dramatically or announce itself as threshold. It rests quietly, allowing stone, sand, and dark water to exist alongside one another without conflict or transition. The sea lies open and level, its surface absorbing the night so completely that movement becomes difficult to distinguish from stillness. Water breathes slowly here, not as waves that arrive and depart, but as a gentle continuity that remains almost unchanged. There is no sound of impact, no breaking of surface. The sea does not speak. It holds its presence evenly, allowing darkness to rest upon it without reflection or shimmer. Whatever journeys once began or ended here have already finished. The water no longer anticipates departure or return. Stone near the shoreline feels settled and smooth, worn not by force, but by time that no longer presses forward. Rocks do not resist the sea. They accept its quiet touch without response. There is no struggle between land and water. They have learned how to remain together without movement or intention. The boundary between them softens until it feels more like a shared space than a division. The air above the shore remains still and balanced, carrying no salt sharp enough to draw attention, no wind strong enough to shape thought. It simply exists, filling the space between land and sea with a calm density that slows perception naturally. Breath, if it were present, would deepen slightly, then settle, aligning with the slow rhythm of the water that does not repeat or conclude. Darkness along the shoreline feels complete and even. The horizon does not glow or recede. The sea does not reflect stars clearly enough to invite the eye. Everything remains muted, softened, as if the night has chosen to quiet even light itself. Distance loses importance. Near and far dissolve into a single, calm impression. Silence here is broad and unbroken. It does not press inward or stretch outward. It rests evenly across water and shore alike. Even imagined sounds feel distant and unnecessary, dissolving before they can gather direction. The sea does not wait for ships or voices. It has already released them. Time loosens further at the water's edge. The moment does not feel suspended or extended. It feels settled and complete. The shoreline does not belong to arrival or departure. It exists entirely within this sustained now, where movement has already finished and nothing more is required. Memory lingers faintly as atmosphere rather than image. The idea of triremes, of oars cutting water, of fleets gathering and dispersing feels distant and weightless. The sea does not remember conquest or return. The shore does not recall footsteps. What remains is not forgetting, but calm continuity. If awareness lingers here, it does so gently, without focus. Attention drifts across dark water and quiet stone, then begins to soften. There is no reason to remain alert. The sea offers no narrative to follow. It remains present in a way that allows awareness to slow naturally, drifting toward rest without effort. Thoughts arise slowly, if at all, and dissolve before they can form shape. Meaning does not assemble. The mind does not attempt to interpret horizon or depth. The shoreline offers no demand. It exists as a quiet meeting of elements beneath the night, steady and complete. The sky remains deep and unchanged above the sea, stars distant and indifferent. The air stays still. The water rests without shift. The shoreline continues to exist quietly, long after ambition, voyage, and return have dissolved, allowing everything that remains here to slow, to soften, and to rest within a silence that does not move forward or backward, only continues to be. The shoreline remains exactly where it is, held gently between land and sea without announcing itself as a place of meeting. There is no sense of edge or crossing here. Stone and water exist side by side in a quiet balance that does not require definition. The sea does not advance, and the land does not retreat. Both have settled into a shared stillness that feels complete, as if the idea of separation has slowly dissolved with time. Water continues its subtle presence without forming waves that arrive or depart. Its surface holds darkness evenly, absorbing the sky without reflection. Movement exists only as a suggestion, a slow internal rhythm that never resolves into action. The sea does not pull attention outward. It does not invite the mind to follow it toward distance. It remains close, contained, resting in the same calm state as the shore. Stone along the waterline feels fully at ease, shaped by long contact that has softened every edge. Rocks do not mark resistance or erosion. They feel settled, as if they've already completed their response to water long ago. The shoreline does not feel worn down. It feels finished, released from the need to change further. Texture becomes gentle, almost abstract, offering no detail that insists on being noticed. The air above the shore remains still and evenly distributed, touching water and stone with equal softness. There is no breeze to follow, no scent to draw awareness forward. Breath, if present, would feel slow and light, nearly indistinguishable from the surrounding air. The boundary between body and environment would soften, making the act of breathing feel less like an action and more like a quiet continuation. Darkness settles fully across the scene, not deepening, not thinning. The horizon remains indistinct, allowing distance to lose its importance. Near and far dissolve into the same calm impression. The sea does not stretch outward into mystery. The land does not anchor awareness inward. Everything exists on the same gentle plane of presence. Silence here feels complete and uninterrupted. It does not anticipate sound. It does not respond to imagined noise. The shoreline has already released the idea of voices calling across water or commands carried by wind. Sound feels unnecessary, almost unreal within this quiet balance. Silence does not belong to absence. It belongs to rest. Time continues to loosen its shape at the water's edge. The moment does not progress or pause. It remains evenly sustained, without accumulation. Night does not move toward morning in any noticeable way. The shoreline does not expect change. It rests within a duration that no longer measures itself. Memory fades further, thinning into a diffuse awareness without image. The idea of naval power, of departure and return, of horizon and conquest feels distant and weightless. The sea does not remember ships. The shore does not recall footsteps. What remains is not forgetting, but a calm continuity that does not require recall. If awareness lingers here, it does so gently and without focus. Attention drifts briefly across water and stone, then begins to release even that movement. There is no center to hold on to, no edge to follow. The shoreline does not anchor the mind. It allows it to soften and rest. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and dissolve before they can gather form. Meaning does not assemble. Narrative does not appear. The mind does not remain alert. It aligns naturally with the stillness of the place, slowing until effort becomes unnecessary. Above, the sky remains deep and steady, stars distant and unmoving. Below, water and stone remain balanced and calm. The shoreline continues to exist quietly within this sustained stillness, long after movement, ambition, and memory have dissolved, allowing everything that remains here to slow, to soften, and to rest within a silence that does not lead anywhere, only continues to be. Block 7. The night now rests over a quiet inland road leading away from the sea, a path that no longer announces direction or purpose. It does not rise or fall dramatically. It simply extends gently across the land, its stones softened by time and darkness until they feel like part of the earth itself. The road does not suggest travel inland or return to the coast. It exists as a calm presence between places that no longer call to one another. Stone along this road feels settled and patient, its surface worn smooth not by urgency, but by repetition that has long since ended. Each slab rests against the next without pressure, aligned not by design but by acceptance. The night smooths every edge evenly, allowing the path to dissolve into the surrounding ground. The idea of a route becomes secondary. What remains is continuity without direction. The air inland feels slightly different from the shore, though the difference is subtle and unremarkable. It carries no moisture that draws attention, no wind that suggests movement. It simply rests, filling the space between stone and open land with a quiet density. Breath, if it were present, would adjust without awareness, slowing naturally as the body aligns with the unhurried rhythm of the place. There is no need to listen for anything. Nothing is approaching. Darkness spreads across the road and the land around it without interruption. Shadows do not gather sharply. They settle gently, blurring the boundary between path and field until distinction loses importance. The road does not stand out. It belongs, near and far softened into a single impression of quiet space held beneath the night. Silence here feels continuous and unbroken, neither expansive nor enclosed. It does not echo. It does not wait. It exists as the natural condition of the land. Even imagined, sound feels distant and unnecessary, dissolving before it can form. The road does not listen for footsteps. It has already released the idea of arrival. Time loosens further along this inland stretch. The moment does not feel extended or brief. It feels evenly sustained, as if it has always existed in this exact form. The road does not belong to past journeys or future ones. It rests entirely within the present, released from sequence and expectation. Memory lingers faintly, but without image or story. The idea that this road once carried messengers, soldiers, or philosophers feels distant and abstract. Names and destinations no longer attach themselves to these stones. Movement has already finished moving. What remains is not absence, but completion. If awareness lingers along this inland road, it does so gently, without scanning or focus. Attention drifts briefly across stone and air, then begins to soften. There is nothing here to follow or resolve. The road does not demand attention. It allows awareness to rest, tend to loosen, then to fade naturally. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and lose shape before they can organize. Meaning does not assemble. Narrative does not appear. The mind does not remain alert. It aligns naturally with the stillness of the land, slowing until effort feels unnecessary. Above, the sky remains deep and unchanged. Stars distant and steady. Around the road, the land rests without shift. The inland path continues to exist quietly within this calm field of night, long after direction, purpose, and urgency have dissolved, allowing everything that remains here to slow, to soften, and to rest within a silence that does not lead anywhere, only continues to be. The inland road continues to rest within the night without alteration, as though the land itself has decided there is no need for further distinction between path and ground. The stones no longer suggest alignment or progression. They lie where they are with a quiet certainty, settled into the earth as naturally as if they had always belonged to it. The road does not extend forward in the mind. It remains exactly where awareness touches it, complete without continuation. Darkness gathers gently along the surface, not deepening, not retreating, simply holding form in a softened state. Edges blur until the idea of a defined route becomes unnecessary. The road does not disappear, but it no longer insists on being recognized as something separate. It exists as a calm presence, a subtle variation in texture within a wider stillness that feels stable and resolved. The air remains evenly balanced along this stretch, neither moving inland nor returning toward the sea. It fills the open space without pressure, touching stone and earth with equal softness. Breath, if present, would slow further here, becoming so light and shallow that it nearly blends into the air itself. The body would feel no impulse to adjust posture or direction. It would remain naturally aligned with the quiet of the place. Silence settles deeper, though not by increasing. It becomes more familiar, more to complete, until it no longer registers as a condition at all. Sound feels irrelevant here, unable to gather shape or direction. The road does not anticipate footsteps or voices. Those possibilities have already faded beyond recall. Silence belongs fully to the land now. Time continues to loosen its shape until it feels almost absent. The moment does not stretch or resolve. It does not feel suspended or ongoing. It simply remains, evenly held. The road does not move through time here. It rests within it, unchanged by duration or sequence. Past journeys no longer attach themselves to this place. Future journeys no longer form. Memory dissolves further into atmosphere. The idea that this road once connected cities, carried arguments, ideas, or commands feels distant and weightless, those meanings no longer gather here. What remains is not forgetting, but completion. The road has already finished everything it was meant to do and has settled fully into rest. Stone boundaries nearby, if they exist at all, soften to the same darkness as the surrounding land. They no longer guide or contain. They exist as quiet variations in the ground, sensed rather than seen. There is no inside or outside that matters. The road does not lead away from anything. It rests among everything equally. If awareness lingers here, it does so without attachment. Attention does not trace the stones or imagine what lies ahead. It rests briefly, then begins to release even that gentle contact. There is no reason to remain alert. The road does not hold attention. It allows it to drift, to soften, to fade. Thoughts arise slowly and dissolve just as gently. They do not gather into ideas or reflections. Meaning does not assemble. The mind does not seek clarity or direction. It aligns naturally with the stillness of the place, slowing until effort becomes unnecessary. Above, the sky remains deep and unchanged. Stars, distant and steady. Around the road, the land continues to rest without shift. The inland path remains quietly present within this sustained stillness. Long after direction, urgency, and memory have released their hold, allowing everything that lingers here to soften, to slow, and to remain without demand. Block 8. The night continues to rest over Greece with a patience that no longer belongs to time. In this stillness, the land opens into a wide, elevated terrace overlooking quiet valleys that do not announce their depth. The height does not feel dramatic or exposed. It feels settled, as though elevation itself has softened and released the need to impress. Stone platforms extend outward without clear boundary, their edges dissolving into darkness until distance becomes suggestion rather than measurement. The ground here feels broad and calm beneath the night, composed of worn stone slabs and compacted earth that no longer carry the imprint of movement. Surfaces that once supported gathering, observation, or command now rest without function. Texture has softened into something neutral, offering no detail that asks to be examined. The terrace does not feel abandoned. It feels finished, as though it has completed its role and allowed itself to settle into quiet alignment with the land around it. Air moves very slowly across this open height, though its movement is almost impossible to locate. It does not arrive from any direction, nor does it leave to lord another. It simply remains evenly distributed, touching stone and open space with equal gentleness. Breath, if it were present, would slow almost immediately, lengthening without effort. The body would feel no reason to adjust its posture or awareness. It would naturally release into the same calm rhythm that holds the terrace in place. Darkness spreads evenly across the elevated surface, smoothing the distinction between ground and open air. Shadows do not stretch or gather. They rest quietly, allowing everything to share the same muted tone. The terrace does not stand out against the surrounding hills. It blends into them, becoming part of a larger stillness that does not prioritize any single form. Near and far lose importance. Everything exists within the same soft field of night. Silence here feels expansive, but gentle, not pressing inward and not stretching outward. It does not echo. It does not anticipate interruption. It exists as the natural condition of this height, fully formed and stable. Even imagined sounds feel distant and unnecessary, dissolving before they can gather direction. The terrace does not wait for voices, footsteps, or assembly. It has already released those possibilities. Time loosens further across this open stone. The moment does not feel extended or brief. It feels evenly sustained, as though it has always existed in this exact state. The terrace does not belong to past gatherings or future ones. It rests entirely within a present that does not move forward or backward. Night does not suggest dawn. Darkness feels complete and sufficient. Memory lingers faintly, as atmosphere rather than image. The idea that people once stood here to observe, to debate, or to command feels distant and weightless. Names, ideas, and outcomes no longer attach themselves to this place. What once happened here has already finished happening. The land does not recall events. It recalls only how to remain after they have passed. If awareness lingers on this terrace, it does so without scanning or focus. Attention spreads gently across stone, air, and darkness, then gradually loosens. There is no edge to follow and no center to return to. The openness does not invite exploration. It invites rest. Awareness begins to thin, becoming lighter with each moment it remains. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and soften before they can organize into meaning. The mind does not construct narrative or explanation. It aligns naturally with the stillness of the place, slowing until effort feels unnecessary. The terrace offers no demand and no instruction. It exists as a calm presence beneath the night, steady and complete. Above, the sky remains deep and unmoved, stars distant and steady without message or alignment. Below, the valleys rest without sound or movement. Between them, the terrace holds its quiet balance, long after observation, strategy, and purpose have dissolved, allowing everything that remains here to slow, to soften, and to rest within a silence that does not progress, only continues. The terrace remains open beneath the same steady night, unchanged by the passing of moments that no longer announce themselves as time. Space here does not expand or contract. It simply holds. The broad surface of stone and earth rests without tension, allowing the sense of height to dissolve into neutrality. Elevation no longer suggests observation or command. It is softened into a quiet condition where nothing needs to be overseen or understood. Stone across the terrace feels deeply settled, its presence calm and unremarkable. Slabs lie in gentle continuity, their edges worn smooth by long familiarity with exposure and stillness. No single surface draws attention. Texture becomes background, offering no detail that demands focus. The terrace no longer feels constructed. It feels revealed, as if the land itself allowed this surface to appear briefly before reclaiming it into stillness. The air remains evenly distributed, resting across the open height without movement or intention. It does not arrive from the sea or drift toward the hills. It simply exists, touching stone and open distance with equal softness. Breath, if present, would slow further here, becoming shallow and unforced, almost blending into the surrounding air. The boundary between body and environment would soften, making the act of breathing feel less like an action and more like quiet continuation. Darkness continues to smooth every distinction. The terrace does not cast sharp shadows or hold deep pools of night. Light, if it exists at all, is diffuse and gentle, allowing forms to relax into suggestion. The line between surface and open space fades until everything feels evenly present. The terrace does not stand apart from the hills or the sky. It rests among them, sharing the same muted tone and calm balance. Silence here feels complete and settled, not fragile and not expectant. It does not wait to be broken. It has already reached its most stable form. Sound feels unnecessary, almost foreign, within this quiet openness. Even imagined voices or movement dissolve before they can gather shape. The terrace has released the idea of gathering or address. It does not anticipate return. Time continues to lose coherence in this elevated stillness. The moment does not feel extended or brief. It does not accumulate or diminish. It remains evenly sustained, as if it has always existed in this condition. Night does not suggest dawn. Darkness feels sufficient, complete without progression. The terrace rests within this timelessness without resistance. Memory thins further until it becomes indistinguishable from atmosphere. The idea that this place once held discussion, debate, or strategy feels distant and abstract. Philosophy no longer unfolds here as thought or argument. War no longer passes through as command or consequence. Those layers have dissolved fully, leaving behind only a quiet continuity that belongs to the land rather than to history. If awareness lingers, it does so gently and without attachment. Attention does not move from point to point. It spreads thinly across stone, air, and darkness, then gradually releases even that diffuse contact. There is no reason to remain alert. Nothing here requires recognition or response. The terrace does not anchor perception. It allows it to soften and fade naturally. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and remain incomplete. They do not organize into meaning or inquiry. They pass quietly, dissolving before they can gather form. The mind aligns naturally with the stillness of the place, slowing until effort becomes unnecessary and awareness becomes almost indistinguishable from rest. The sky above remains deep and unmoved, stars distant and steady, without signal or orientation. The valleys below remain silent and unseen. Between them, the terrace continues to exist quietly, long after observation, speech, and intention have released their hold, allowing everything that remains here to slow, to soften, and to rest within a silence that does not move forward or backward, but simply continues to be complete and undisturbed. Block 9. The night now holds a narrow mountain passage where the land gently closes in without creating confinement. The path here does not feel restricted or tense. It feels quieter, more intimate, as if space itself has chosen to draw nearer without changing its nature. Rock faces rise softly on either side, their presence felt rather than seen. Their forms dissolved into darkness until depth becomes suggestion instead of measure. The passage does not lead forward in awareness. It exists fully within itself, settled and complete. Stone beneath this passage feels deeply familiar, worn smooth by time that no longer insists on movement. The path does not assert direction. It does not invite passage. It rests where it is, aligned with the mountain in a way that feels inevitable and calm. Each stone lies without pressure against the next, forming a surface that does not resist or guide. Construction has softened into belonging, and belonging has softened into quiet presence. The air here feels slightly cooler, though the change is gentle and without edge. It settles low in the passage, filling the narrow space with a calm density that does not press inward. Breath, if it were present, would slow almost immediately, lengthening without effort, as if the body has entered a place where vigilance is no longer required. There is no need to listen closely. Nothing approaches from either direction. Darkness rests close to the stone walls, smoothing their contours until shape loses urgency. The passage does not feel enclosed. It feels celled. Shadow does not gather heavily. It spreads evenly, allowing the narrowness to feel balanced rather than confined. Near and far lose distinction. Everything exists within the same soft field of night. Silence here feels settled and protective without intention. It does not echo between stone faces. It absorbs sound before it can form. Even imagined movement feels distant and unnecessary. The passage does not wait for footsteps or voices. It has already released the idea of travel. Silence belongs fully to this place now. Time loosens further in this quiet narrowing. The moment does not feel stretched or compressed. It remains evenly sustained, as though it has always existed in this exact condition. The passage does not belong to before or after. It exists entirely within a present that does not move forward. Night does not suggest dawn. Darkness feels complete. Memory lingers faintly, not as image or event, but as a subtle density in the air. The idea that this passage once carried movement between valleys feels distant and abstract. Names, destinations, and intentions no longer attach themselves to this space. What once passed through has already finished passing. The land has retained nothing but calm. If awareness lingers here, it does so gently, without scanning or anticipation. Attention rests briefly on stone and shadow, then begins to soften. There is no edge to follow and no opening to seek. The passage does not lead anywhere in the mind. It allows awareness to remain still, then to loosen naturally. Thoughts arise slowly, if at all, and dissolve before they can organize into meaning. Narrative does not form. The mind does not attempt to interpret or anticipate. It aligns naturally with the quiet of the passage, slowing until effort becomes unnecessary and awareness begins to feel diffuse and light. Above, the sky remains unseen, held beyond the narrowing walls. Around the passage, the mountain rests without shift or sound. The path remains quietly present within this gentle containment. Long after travel, urgency, and direction have dissolved, allowing everything that lingers here to slow, to soften, and to remain within a silence that does not progress, only continues to be. The narrow passage continues to rest within the mountain without change, as if the land itself has decided that no further adjustment is necessary. The stone walls do not move closer or pull away. They remain at a steady distance, allowing space to feel quietly contained rather than restricted. This closeness does not press upon awareness. It settles around it gently, creating a sense of calm and closure that does not demand attention or response. Rock surfaces along the passage feel deeply settled, their textures soft beyond distinction. Edges no longer assert sharpness. Surfaces do not reflect light or invite inspection. The stones appear less like obstacles or boundaries and more like extensions of the same quiet ground beneath. The passage no longer feels carved or shaped. It feels revealed, as if it has always existed in this form, waiting patiently to be noticed and then forgotten again. The air within this space remains still and balanced, held gently between the stone faces. It does not circulate or drift. It simply exists, filling the narrow passage with a calm density that slows perception naturally. Breath, if present, would become shallow and slow, almost imperceptible, aligning effortlessly with the stillness of the place. The body would feel no need to orient itself. Direction has lost relevance here. Darkness gathers evenly along the stone walls, softening depth until distance becomes suggestion. The passage does not feel longer or shorter. It exists entirely within the present moment, without extension. Shadow does not conceal or reveal. It rests, allowing form to remain without emphasis. The idea of seeing ahead or behind feels unnecessary. Everything that matters is already here. Silence in the passage feels especially complete, not because sound has recently faded, but because it no longer belongs here at all. There is no echo waiting to return. Even imagined footsteps dissolve before they can gather shape. The passage does not anticipate movement. It has already released the idea of being crossed. Silence rests naturally, stable and uninterrupted. Time continues to dissolve within this gentle containment. The moment does not feel prolonged or brief. It feels settled and whole, as if it has always existed in this exact state. There is no sense of progression toward openness or descent. The passage does not lead anywhere. It exists as a quiet presence that does not transition into something else. Memory thins further, dissolving into atmosphere. The idea that this passage once served as a connection between distant places feels distant and weightless. Roots, destinations, and purposes no longer gather. Meaning here, what once moved through has already finished moving. The land has accepted everything and retained nothing but calm. If awareness lingers, it does so without attachment, Attention does not trace the stone walls or imagine what lies beyond them. It rests briefly, then begins to loosen. There is no reason to remain alert. The passage does not anchor perception. It allows awareness to soften, to spread thinly, to fade gently into the same stillness that fills the space. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and remain incomplete. They do not organize into ideas or images. Meaning does not assemble. The mind does not search for understanding or direction. It aligns naturally with the quiet of the passage. Slowing until effort feels unnecessary and awareness becomes almost indistinguishable from rest. Above, the mountain remains unseen and unmoved. Around the passage, stone holds its quiet balance without shift. The narrow space continues to exist gently within the land. Long after movement, urgency, and memory have dissolved, allowing everything that remains here to slow, to soften, and to rest within a silence that does not advance or conclude, but simply continues to be complete and undisturbed. Log 10. The night settles into a place where the mountain passage releases itself completely, opening into a quiet expanse that no longer feels like arrival or conclusion. The land does not announce this opening. It simply eases outward, allowing space to exist without emphasis or transition. There is no sense of having come from somewhere narrow or of moving toward something wide. The idea of passage dissolves, leaving only a calm surface of earth and stone resting beneath the same steady darkness. The ground here feels level and settled, composed of compacted soil and scattered rock that no longer carries the imprint of direction. There are no marks that suggest crossing or pause. Whatever once moved across this space has already finished moving. The surface rests in a state of quiet agreement with gravity and time, holding no tension and offering no resistance. The land does not guide. It does not receive. It simply remains. Air rests evenly across this open place, without drift or circulation. It does not arrive from the mountains or depart toward the valleys. It exists as a steady presence, touching ground and open distance with equal softness. Breath, if present, would slow until it becomes barely noticeable, aligning naturally with the calm that holds the land. The boundary between body and space would soften, making awareness feel light, and the darkness here feels complete and balanced. It does not deepen or thin. It holds form gently, allowing outlines to remain without insistence. The land does not disappear, but it no longer asks to be seen. Near and far lose distinction. Everything rests within the same quiet field, unified by the absence of urgency. Silence settles fully across this open ground, not as something that follows sound, but as the natural state of the place. There is no echo and no anticipation of interruption. Even imagined noise feels distant and unnecessary. The land does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs here without effort. Time loosens until it no longer feels present. The moan does not stretch or resolve. It remains evenly sustained, without accumulation. Night does not suggest dawn. Darkness feels sufficient, complete in itself. The land does not belong to before or after. It exists entirely within a now that does not move. Memory thins into atmosphere, losing image and sequence. The idea of ancient thought, of debate, of conflict and resolution feels distant and weightless. Philosophy no longer unfolds as question or answer. War no longer appears as movement or consequence. These layers have dissolved fully, leaving behind only a quiet continuity that belongs to the land rather than to history. If awareness lingers here, it does so without focus or attachment. Attention does not seek edges or horizons. It rests briefly on ground and air, then begins to soften. There is no reason to remain alert. The land does not ask to be understood. It allows awareness to settle and release naturally. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and dissolve before they can organize into meaning. The mind does not form narrative or explanation. It aligns naturally with the stillness of the place, slowing until effort feels unnecessary and awareness becomes diffuse and calm. Above, the sky remains deep and unmoving, stars distant and steady without message or orientation. Below, the land holds its quiet balance without shift. The open ground remains exactly as it is, long after movement, speech, and intention have dissolved, allowing everything that remains here to slow, to soften, and to rest within a silence that does not progress or conclude, but simply continues to be. The open ground continues to rest beneath the same unbroken night, unchanged by any sense of completion or transition. Space here does not feel like an ending reached or a beginning prepared. It feels settled, as though the land has chosen to remain exactly as it is, without the need to resolve into anything else. The openness does not invite movement outward. It allows stillness to deepen naturally, without instruction or effort. Earth and stone lie together in a calm arrangement that no longer reflects design or intention. Texture softens into something nearly uniform, offering no detail that insists on being examined. The surface does not suggest where one might stand or move. It exists as a quiet presence, holding weight without pressure, form without insistence. The land does not present itself as ground to be crossed. It presents itself as a place to remain. The air feels perfectly settled, resting evenly across the open space without drift or current. It does not cool or warm in a way that draws attention. It simply exists, touching earth, an open distance, with equal gentleness. Breath, if present, would become so slow and light that it would feel almost unnecessary, blending seamlessly into the surrounding stillness. The boundary between body and environment would soften further, until awareness feels suspended rather than anchored. Darkness continues to hold the land without change. It does not deepen or lift. It allows outlines to exist without emphasis, letting form relax into suggestion. Near and far lose relevance entirely. The land does not extend outward in the mind. It rests fully within the same quiet field of presence, complete and unmarked. Silence here is absolute, without feeling heavy. It does not press inward or stretch outward. It exists as the natural state of everything within this space. Sound does not arrive and does not depart. Even imagined noise dissolves before it can gather shape. The land does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs fully and effortlessly. Time has dissolved into presence so completely that duration no longer registers. The moment does not feel long or short. It feels whole. Night does not progress toward dawn, and dawn does not wait beyond it. The land does not anticipate change. It rests within a now that does not move, sustained without effort. Memory releases its final attachments here. The idea of ancient Greece, of myth, philosophy, and war, no longer forms images or stories. Those layers have softened into atmosphere, into a quiet density that belongs to the land rather than to history. What remains is not remembrance and not forgetting, but calm continuity without narrative. If awareness lingers, it does so faintly and without direction. Attention does not settle on any single point. It spreads gently, then begins to fade, as though even the act of noticing has become unnecessary. There is no reason to remain awake here. Nothing requires engagement. The land does not hold the mind. It allows it to rest. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and dissolve before forming meaning. They do not organize into ideas or reflections. The mind aligns naturally with the stillness of the place, slowing until awareness feels diffuse and effortless, almost indistinguishable from the silence around it. Above, the sky remains deep and steady, stars distant and unmoving without message or conclusion. Below, the land holds its quiet balance without shift. Between them, the open ground remains, not as a destination or an ending, but as a sustained presence where everything is already settled. Nothing concludes here in any sharp sense. Nothing begins again. The land remains, the night remains, and the stillness continues, complete and undisturbed, allowing awareness to soften fully and rest within a silence that does not move forward or backward, but simply continues to be.